Yo, what is good, YouTube? Welcome back to another JC2K video. In today's video, we are going to be ranking the top 10 best centers in NBA 2K25 MyTEAM. Gotta say, this list came together a little bit easier than some of these other top 10 lists have as of late. Definitely was an easier list to build, and I think the center position has become a bit self-explanatory over the past couple of weeks. There's just not, there's like only 9 or 10 really good centers in the game right now. Everybody else, there's some good budget cards and stuff that aren't on the list, but in general, the center position is very clear in terms of who the top guys are. So I think this list is pretty easy to put together. You may disagree with the order a bit, but in general, these feel like they're the top 10 guys. So before we hop into the video, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Help me push towards the 40,000 subscriber mark on the channel. I upload every single day, multiple videos a day. Would really appreciate it if y'all do subscribe. And without further ado, let's hop right into it. Number 10 is going to be Dwight Howard. Only reason D12 is number 10 is because he's only 6'10", but he's elite defensively. He's got a 7'4" wingspan. He's also incredibly fast with that 95 speed, 94 agility. Three ball rating is on the lower end at only a 74. Don't think it's a huge deal though, in all honesty, because his jumper's not that bad. His upper's not good, but his base is, I think, very, very solid. And overall, I really do like the card. I think he's a very versatile, very good card in my team who just, yes, he's a little small to center position. That'd be the biggest critique of the card. And he's not an unbelievable shooter, but jumper's good enough. He shoots the ball well enough once he's badged with like some shooting badges, and playmaking badges wouldn't hurt either, but he's amazing as a finisher and a defender. Really good card, just that lack of size, I think, is the main thing that puts him only at number 10. Number 9, gonna be Joel Embiid. Really good card. I will say at this point, my biggest criticism of this card, only 84 speed, probably the biggest criticism at 7 foot. But he's a good shooter. He's dunking wise, not unbelievable, but solid. 85 standing, 75 driving dunk. Does have half posterizer and rise up, which helps. Half set shot specialist as well. Helps him as a shooter. Jumper's a little weird, but I don't think it's honestly that bad. It's relatively easy to grade defensively. He's very solid. He's a great rebounder, great interior defender. Card who can absolutely hold it down at a very high level at this point at the center position still. My biggest criticism, again, is the lack of elite athletic ability, lack of elite speed. Those would be the main criticisms of the card. He's still very, very good, still super viable at a competitive level. No problems with Embiid at all. There's a lot of good centers on this top 10. I feel like at number 9, it feels like the right spot. And the reason for that is you got a card like Wilt Chamberlain, for example, at number 8. This Wilt card, he can't really shoot very well. That's the only flaw. He's fast. He's amazing defensively. He's got amazing athletic ability. He's just got a 63 ball and a mediocre jumper. And you know what I mean? Like, great card, one flaw. I personally would still take him over Embiid, I think, at center. At power forward, I think I'd take Embiid for the jumper. At center, I would take Wilt because of the speed and the defense and the size, the 8-foot wingspan, the 7'1" player build. He's just bigger and more impactful on the defensive end, in my opinion. I don't need the floor spacing quite as much at the center position because I'll just use him as my screener and let him slip most of the time. Did do a gameplay with this card today. It should be out by the time y'all watch this video, so go check that out if you want. Shooting could be a little question mark. Other than that, I do think he's very good. I feel like 8th is probably right though, honestly, because the shooting is a flaw. His jumper's not great, and the 3-ball rating at 60 is low. He's a viable card, but he does have that flaw, and that does hold him back a bit, which keeps him only at the number 8 spot on the list. Number 7, same exact story. Shooting is what keeps this card low. It is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, 7'2", very similarly to Wilt. He's big, he's long, he's got great speed, he's an awesome athlete, he's an elite defender, big player build, all that stuff. The flaw is the same, 64 3-ball, not a great jumper. He's a little bit bigger than Wilt. That's the main reason I put him one spot above Wilt, but they're very similar cards. They pretty much provide the same thing. Elite level interior bigs can hit a wide open 3, but they're certainly not great compared to a lot of other cards, I would say. I don't know. I think he's good, but again, shooting is a big flaw. And for me personally, I want a really good popping center. That's my biggest issue with those two guys. They're great cards in every other way, and they're absolutely competitive level bigs. But to me, that's why they're in the lower half of this list at number 7 and number 8, is because of their questionable ability as a shooter. Number 6 is a card who I think is just a better version of Joel Embiid, and that is Hakeem Olajuwon. He's a little faster than Embiid, is 87 instead of 84. Shooting wise, they're about the same. Dunking wise, again, Hakeem's a little better, 90 standing, 90 driving dunk. Defensively, Hakeem is a very similar stat and badge wise, but I personally like his animations a little bit better. I feel like he plays a little bigger. Just to me, I like him more than Hakeem than Embiid at this point. It's not a huge difference. Like all 4 of these guys, I think you could really argue them in any order between Hakeem, Kareem, Wilt, and Embiid. But to me, I like Hakeem the best of the bunch because I feel like he gives you the best mix of, yes, he's still got the athletic ability and the size to guard, and he still shoots the ball at a high level as well. Better jumper than Hakeem or than Wilt or Kareem have, and I bet a much higher 3-ball rating as well. In my opinion, he's better than both of them to me, just slightly, but I would take him over those guys, putting him at number 6 on the list. Number 5, and this one basically very similar honestly, it's a similar card to the rest of this group, Greg Oden. Now, what Oden provides, his player build is ridiculous. I know he's only listed at 7 foot. He looks 7'1", 7'2". He looks like Wilt sized. And then also, obviously, I mean, very similarly to a guy like Wilt, he's absolutely dominant on the interior, 95 standing, 85 driving dunk, gets really good animations. Defensively, he's a stud. 79 3-ball isn't quite as high as a Hakeem, and he's also a couple speeds slower than Hakeem, kind of closer to Embiid in speed. To me, Oden just, his animations, he plays really big. He has for like 3 years. I don't know why. He's always just I don't know. He plays bigger than 7 foot. He always feels like a dominant inside big in a lot of ways. Feels like he gives you a similar effect to Kareem and Wilt in a lot of ways, while still being a high level floor spacer. Also, I will say Dwight's base, not great, but honestly pretty good this year. It's Dwight's upper that's not great about his jumper. This upper though is absolutely nasty. Kemba upper speeds up the Dwight base, really makes his jumper fast, smooth, and good. He is the best shooter, in my opinion, despite a slightly lower 3-ball rating than Hakeem and Embiid, of anybody on this list to this point. I love his jumper. I feel like he gets off really easily, and he plays huge as well. I really do like Oden over all the rest of these centers. You may not agree with me, but I like Oden a lot, and I have no problems with him at the number 5 spot on the list. Number 4, Shaquille O'Neal. Shaq is literally Wilt and Kareem, but slightly better stats across the board. He's a little more complete, amazing finisher, 99 standing and driving dunk, 99 strength, 98 vert, 94 speed, all that type of stuff. He's just Wilt and Kareem, but a little bit better as a shooter, slightly higher 3-ball. Also, his jumper stinks just like theirs. Honestly, his jumper might even be a little bit worse, but it's similar as a shooter. He's got to be wide open to knock him down. But defensively, he's a dog. Finishing wise, he's a dog. Speed wise, he's incredible. He's like 7'1" Dwight with a slightly worse jumper, but better everything else. As good as he is as a card, I can't put him higher than 4 because of the shooting flaw, and it is still a very real flaw. But he's very, very good, and he's the best bad shooting card in the game, in my opinion. So putting him at the number 4 spot. Number 3, obvious choice here, David Robinson. Easily the 3rd best center in the game. Wouldn't put him higher than that. If you wanted to put him higher, you could make the argument. To me, I wouldn't. But D-Rob, again, he's 90 speed. He's basically Wilt and Kareem stats defensively as a rebounder, that type of thing. Not quite the same as a finisher, but the Hoff badges are there, and he's got an 85 standing and 85 driving dunk still. 89 3-ball. He's a much better shooter. He's like Hakeem, but better. Wilt and Kareem, but better. Like, he's just a better version of all those guys. Jumper smooth. Defensively, he's great. He gets the job done at everything. He's got the size. He's got the versatility. D-Rob's an incredible card. One of the best level 40 cards we've gotten in years. Really one of the best level 40 cards, I think, pretty much of all time. He's an awesome card. He can still play at the highest level and will be able to for quite a while. Top 3 in the game for sure. KP's at number 2. Yes, I get it. Little slower. He's only 80 speed, but he's 7'2", and he's an exceptional shooter. I mean, exceptional. 93 3-ball, elite jumper. He's not quite uncontestable the same way that I would say a guy like Wemby is, but he's not far off of it. He's an exceptional shooter. And defensively, look, I get the badges aren't unbelievably complete. I think most KPs, to be fair, are going to have extra added badges. That's one thing you can get, is a lot of extra added badges on him if you buy him. But he's just, his shooting ability is incredible. His athleticism is there. He's not a liability speed-wise. He's not a liability defensively. And yes, again, he's the best popper out of anybody on this list to this point, plus being 7'2". Love the card. I have him number 2. But number 1 is a no-brainer, Victor Wembanyama. The reason that Wemby is a no-brainer, yes, he's the tallest card on this list. Yes, he's an awesome shooter. Yes, he's very athletic. Yes, he's a great defender. I know he's a little slower. He's the slowest card on the list as well. Doesn't matter to me, in all honesty, because he's uncontestable. His jumper is the most uncontestable jumper in the game. You have to jump like crazy. You have to pretty much jump at him every single time to get a contest. And with a short defender, just good luck. It's not happening. He's the best center in the game. I don't think there's any arguing it. If anybody says anybody other than Wemby's the best center in the game, they're wrong. That's the honest truth. Especially at a competitive level. Like, there's no argument. You could argue D-Rob over KP if you wanted to. To me, there's no argument that anybody's better than Wemby in this game right now at the center position. He is the number 1 center in the game, and it's not even a debate. With that being said, that's going to do it for the video. I hope y'all did enjoy. Let me know what y'all think about this in the comment section down below. If you did enjoy the video, make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe, and I'll be back with more 2K content very, very soon. I appreciate y'all. Peace.